Hey guys, it's SimQueen, and today I'm doing another speed build for the A to Z build challenge. I am on the letter P, and so I decided on a prairie house. And I know that I have said this a lot throughout this challenge, but the letter P, holds the new record for the most difficult type of architecture. I could not find anything for the letter P, and I was thinking maybe because I did this build around the time that the Mosquito Stuff Pack was released, I considered doing like a photographer studio or photographer loft, something like that, because it starts with the letter P, and I was super stuck with this letter. But then I thought, like, I am seriously seeing so many of those builds going up, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but I just didn't really want to be another person doing a photographer's studio. So I kept digging, I kept doing some research, and I came across something called a prairie house. Now, the issue with this type of build is that it just doesn't make any sense. Like, prairie house, like, where does that even come from? I'm not even that sure. It's basically like, I'm not even sure how to describe it, but kind of what I was looking into, it's a late 19th to early 20th century architectural style, and it's usually, the characteristics it usually has is like overhanging eaves, large windows, kind of craftsmanship a little bit, and it usually is only one floor, or like one big floor with just kind of a couple of rooms upstairs, and they're usually very vast and open as well. The insides have a lot of like wood and a lot of like beams and things like that. Of course, I can't do that in this game. We don't really have rafters and beams that I can add in, so I sort of had to do my own thing. I did quite a bit of research on this type of house, and mostly what I came up with is that there's really there's no way to make the perfect prairie style house. The best way to do it was to just find a prairie style house and kind of build almost a replica of that. So that's sort of what I did. I did find an image on Google and decided to try and follow along with that. It even came with a floor plan, and there's pictures of the interior, and I was gonna go for it and try to make it look just like the pictures, but like it normally works out for me, I started the build and sort of just went off on my own and did my own thing. I always do that. It's like, same with recipes for some reason. I'll always start a recipe, and then I'll just take it off and do my own thing, and I don't know why, but that's just how I am. And so that's how this build worked out. And I'm not even sure if this can be considered a prairie house. I don't know. I probably didn't nail it. But the point is, I did love this build. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a really long one. It took a lot of time. And I thought, you know what, after all that, there's no way I'm not going to post this build. It's definitely going up. So I just went ahead with it anyway, and you know, if it doesn't look like a prairie house, that's okay. I just like the build either way. Letter P was really difficult, so I'm trying not to be too hard on myself about that. So this build took me quite a few hours to do. I did it over the course of a couple of days. Usually I'll come home from work and just like relax and sit down to my computer and just work on a build, and I do love that a lot. That's why I like doing bigger builds, is because it takes me a while to do, and I can sort of just work on it whenever I feel like it, just furnish a couple rooms at a time if I want to, and if I'm not really feeling it, I can just leave it, and I'll finish it eventually. But that's kind of what I did. So basically, because I work 3 days a week, and then every day after work I would just come home, work on it a little bit. So I guess about 3 days it took me, and this build is sped up more than any of my builds have ever been. So this is sped up 9.5 times, I think, or maybe it's 10.5 times. I'm not exactly sure, but around 10 times. And normally my builds are sped up 8 times, but this was a really long one. I was trying to keep it under half an hour with the screenshots, and a lot of people don't realize this, especially if you don't actually make these videos, speed builds with voiceovers, but it is incredibly hard to talk about anything for 27 minutes, and so I had to cut some things out, and I shortened the talking to 21 minutes, and then the screenshots come at the end. But it's hard to talk about things because you don't really know what to talk about, and especially when you're not a big YouTuber. You think like, does anyone even really care about my life? Probably not. So it's easier for people like Lil Simsy, who does a couple of builds a week, or at least one build a week, and she can just go off on these like rants about her life, and people listen because they like her builds and they're interested in her life. And I'm not quite there yet, so for the most part I just talk about my builds and not really much else. But I was thinking, you know, I could start using my speed build time to talk about my life a little bit, kind of like my own little diary, which is like kind of what speed builds are for a lot of other builders. Like Lil Simsy doesn't even reference her builds. She seriously doesn't talk about them at all. And I think that's so funny. I really admire that about her. She literally does a build and doesn't mention it once. She just talks about whatever's going on in her life. And mostly it's airport stories. I'm not sure why. But yeah, so I was thinking I could start doing that a little bit. I don't know. I'm not sure what to talk about for the next 20 minutes. But I will talk about the build a little bit. So when I was doing my research into Prairie House, a lot of the articles I was reading said that these types of houses have like a lot of built-in wood structures, like shelves and bookshelves and things that are actually built into the house. And so that's what I was thinking for these shelves that I'm putting in now. I don't really know if I mean, I like it, but it's a little weird. It looks almost rustic, that's not what I was going for at all. I used a lot of browns and creams throughout this entire house, and I think I remained pretty consistent with the brown and cream theme throughout the house, at least on the main floor. So there are a total of 6 bedrooms. I only used 3 of them as actual bedrooms. There's the parents' bedroom, a teenage boy's bedroom, and a teenage girl's bedroom upstairs, and then there's also an office upstairs, and then downstairs there's a gym and a TV room. So any of those rooms could be used as bedrooms as well. I think when I put this on the gallery, I put it as 5 bedrooms, but I should have put it as 6 because you can use any of those ones too. You could also convert the garage into a bedroom as well. It's not really doing anything. There's nothing very useful in there. But I decided to do a garage because I don't normally do them, and I wasn't that concerned about saving space with this build. There's a ton of space in this house, and I thought the garage kind of looked nice, especially on the outside. It looks very realistic. And then I added, there's like a car in the garage. There's one in the driveway as well. So I was more concerned about making this build look realistic. And then after I was done the build, I decided to go in with the debug cheat and just find some random little items. I found like a coffee bag that I put next to the coffee pot, like a TV remote, a wooden spoon I just put on the counter, just some random little things like that, just to make it look a little more realistic and homey. And I'm actually really pleased with how this build came out. It took such a long time. It was a lot of work, but I feel like for the A to Z build challenge, I've been doing a lot of smaller builds, and it was time to do something a little bit bigger. So that's what I did. I went for something pretty grand. And now the next letter, oh my god, the next letter is the letter Q. I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. Like, I don't even know. I thought the letter O and P were hard, but yeah, that's going to be pretty difficult. But the kitchen is just about done. I put some wall lights on there just to sort of make it look a little bit brighter, but I'm very happy with the kitchen. I was feeling super inspired to actually get a family and move them into this house and play with it a little bit. It just looks like a house that I would love to live in. It does end up costing, I think, 205,000 simoleons, so realistically, my Sims will never be able to afford to live here. So I might as well just move a random family in and just play around for a little bit. Because it just kind of has everything you need. I'm really happy with how the backyard turned out, and yeah, I could definitely see myself playing in this house if I could ever actually afford it. Now I'm doing the dining room. I decided to go with those fabric cream colored chairs in the dining room. Also changed the paint a couple of times. I wanted something brown. I wasn't really happy with the white color that much. I did put a fireplace on that one wall, which looks a little bit weird because I did forget to put like a smokestack at the top of the house. So there's no chimney for it, but there is a fireplace right there, kind of just like off on the side in the dining room. It's a little bit weird, but I wasn't sure what to do with that wall, and I was trying not to make it look too cluttered. I liked the large windows in the dining room as well. None of those are actual doors that you can go out of. But this house does have, I think, 1, 2, 3, at least 3, I think it's just 3 at the very least, doors leading onto the back patio. There's one that goes from the gym, one just kind of at the back of the house in like that common area next to the living room, and then one off the master bedroom as well. And then here is just a little half bath on the main floor, just nothing too fancy. I didn't do much with the bathrooms. I didn't want to make them too fancy. I have a tendency to overdo it when it comes to the bathrooms, and it never looks good. And then in this bathroom, I had an image in my head of what I wanted to do, and it did not work out. I don't think I'm that happy with how the bathroom turned out, but it was pretty close to what I had in my mind. It just didn't come together as nicely as I thought it would. I did put like the his and hers sinks though. As I think I did. No, I think I did one sink. I can't remember. I was going to do his and hers sinks, but I think I did more of like a his and hers side. I put like a bunch of like makeup on one side and like some cologne on the other side. And then of course the toilet with the, I think what did I put on the side there? A shelf? Oh, a bench. That's what I did. I don't know. I only built this yesterday. I finished it this morning. I should remember what I did to this build. But that's pretty much it for this master bathroom. And then it's got the two big windows, like right when you come out of the shower, you're looking out a window, which is a little unrealistic, but I did put some blinds there so you can lower the blinds. And yeah, it's not a very realistic bathroom, but I just had an image in my head that I had to go with. And then for the main bedroom, I did, again, the brown and cream colors again. I really love this bed with, like, the curtains and, like, almost knit-looking bedding. I really like that. Just put a TV in their bedroom with a little table underneath it. I think I put, like, a vanity in here and, like, a comfy-looking chair. Oh, my God. Loud noises outside. I live in an area where people dirt bike from A to B. It's weird. So yeah, there's that little vanity. I put some like makeup on there, put a rug in here, just kind of made it cozy. And then there's also that archway there leads into the walk-in closet, which I did furnish as well. And well, of course I did. It's part of the build, obviously. But I put in like I think like a dresser and a mirror and a whole bunch of clothes in there. I think it's a very realistic looking walk-in closet. It's a little bit messy, but completely like what you would expect to find in a walk-in closet. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. This whole build, I think, is just, it's very me. Like this is the type of house I would want to live in, I think. I really like it. And the whole idea is that it's meant to be a bit of an older house, but it's kind of been redone a little bit. I don't know if anyone's picking up on that, but that's what I was going for. Also, there is a laundry room at the back of the house. I didn't mention it when I was furnishing that room, but there is a laundry room, so I did put some laundry baskets in the bedrooms. I think I remembered in all of them, but I'm not quite sure. In this room, I'm doing the TV room because there's no TV in the living room, so I just did like a little den. There's like a love seat, a chair, not very much in here, but just kind of an area to just hang out and watch TV. I find a lot of older people have dens in their house. My grandma never let anyone put a TV in her living room. Like, she wouldn't have it. So she would make my grandpa go into the den, she called it, to watch TV. So I don't know. To me, it's like an old person thing, but I could be wrong on that. There's that little corner couch at the foyer as well, which I really like. That one wall there is just all mirrors. It's kind of a weird area of the house. It's just kind of how you get to the backyard. And I think that's pretty much it for the main floor. Upstairs, just did some like, I don't know, I was playing around with the rooms a little bit. I wasn't exactly sure at this point what I was going to do with those two bedrooms, but I did end up making it a teen bedroom, or two teen bedrooms, one girl and one boy. And then this is the office, which I put another fireplace in here because that chimney is there anyway, so I thought I might as well do that. There's like a little closet in there, and then I just kind of filled it up with some office-y type things. A couple of chairs, a bookshelf, a computer. Not that exciting, but I think I did actually put carpet in this bedroom. I'm not sure why. I thought it would look cozier that way, so I put carpet in there. There's like a guitar, just some random things like that, and an easel as well. And that's pretty much it for the office. And then the two bathrooms are pretty generic. I think all of them are, except the one in the master. The master bathroom's a little weird, but the rest I kept them pretty generic. I didn't want to make them too fancy. And I cut out some of the backyard stuff just because it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do with it, and the video was already very, very long. So I built that little, what is that called? It's not a trellis. That area of, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, even though I can't put it into words. But the little half-covered area above the fireplace there, I put that in. I just really like the idea of that being there. Kind of makes it kind of look closed in, but not really. Still a little bit of an open area. And then this side of the pool, there's a couple of chairs there. Put in some patio lights. There's a hot tub at the back as well. And then I just put some seating around that fireplace. I really love this back area. I can see my Sims using this space a lot. I also put a bar. I think there's a barbecue. And then most of the backyard is just the pool, but there's also a little bit of space on either side of it to just do what you want. I think I put a bunch of planters on one side and a picnic table. And I think that's pretty much it. But I'm pretty happy with how this back area turned out. And then I did put a hot tub there with a couple of towels next to it. So you could just go right out from the master bedroom onto the patio, and the hot tub is right there. And I wanted to make sure I had a lot of light as well. So I tried to fill it up as much as I could. And I will include some screenshots of like the evening time as well. Because I think it's going to light up and look really nice. And that's it for the backyard. So now onto, the front yard, by the way, I didn't really record any of that, I don't think. I mostly cut it out, just like the finishing touches on the front of the house, just because it wasn't that interesting to watch. And now in the girls' bedroom, I just did some pink colors, put in like a computer, just like some generic teen items. I do love this room though. It started with that pink bed. As soon as I put that down, I knew I was going to love this space. And just put in some like just generic bedroom things. I did picture 2 dogs living in this house, so I put food bowls downstairs, but of course I forgot to put pet beds. I always do that, but I did put one in her bedroom, so that's the only one you're gonna see. So you'll have to add some more if you do want your Sims to have dogs in this house. But that's pretty much it for the teen girls bedroom, and I think I'm on to the teen boys bedroom. Use the same bed, just a different what do we call that? A duvet, I guess? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. The lava lamp, clocks. I never use clocks. I don't know why. I think it's because they're in a category that I never really think of. So I didn't really think to use it, but it was just kind of there, and that's the only way I knew to use it, because I didn't go looking for it. It was just there. And then I just put some like random little clutter items, a bookshelf, and that's pretty much it for the teens' bedroom. Not that exciting, but I did put a TV and a stereo and I think like a game console in there. And then the hallway, I just put some random little things in there. Wasn't really sure what to do with that space. And I never know what to do with hallways, so I always go for a table and a mirror. That's always what I go for. And then the garage, just put some counters in there, and I think I put one of the shelves that came with the Strangerville pack, I'm pretty sure. And there's a dartboard in there, and eventually I put in a car as well. And yeah, just tried to fill it up as much as I could. But the garage is, I mean, nobody ever uses that space, so I don't know. I would probably convert it to something else. I'm just not exactly sure what I would convert it to. And then the other bedroom at the back of the house, I'm not sure if I include it in this build, but there is a gym back there. And yeah, I think that this house kind of has everything your Sims would ever need. Again, it's like 205,000 simoleons, so it's very expensive. It is on the gallery though, so you can download it. My origin ID is SimQueen 1992. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this Prairie house, or I guess, I don't even know if you can call it that, but I am, because I had to do something for the letter P. The letter Q should be really interesting. Still don't know what I'm going to do for that, but definitely stay tuned to see what I can come up with. That is pretty much it for the speed build. If you enjoyed this build, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.